So my name is Jayoon, and I'm one of partner in BCHO architect. I wanted to be architect from my young ages, like from like middle school student, because I thought I wanted to work for some creative background. And yeah, I thought architect is very attractive. They are dealing with the really big scales. So I thought that's something other cannot do. That's something first in my thought. And yeah, I just went to the architecture school in Korea, and after I graduate bachelor in Korea University, I went to UK to do my master in interior design at Royal College of Art. And the reason why I decided to study there was during my bachelor, I did an internship experience in Korea. And the experience I did at the company was something that I didn't expect it. It was more practical and everything was so long-term project. So it was something different than I thought about the architect. I was thinking it will be more creative and what's more interesting. So that's reason why I decided to study abroad, to do something more creative and more tangible. And after graduate the master, and I have to find a job somewhere else. I didn't know where to start from, and this was my first office that I applied. And from that time, until now, I work for this office for 10 years. And working here, for me, is very interesting and very exciting for me, because the work we are doing here is more tangible. We deal with a lot of materials and structures and like a site, and we always go to the construction site to see how it is going up. And we do a lot of conversation with the constructor, like subcontractors, and like it's almost it's more about the making it, not just a drawing in front of a computer. So that's something what I like about this office. Yeah, I think I'm more fitting in Korea culture rather than abroad. Like in like London, for example. I like how people live in Korea, and the food and the culture, music, cinema. I think it's more spontaneous. To be honest, I didn't really care about the tradition in Korea, actually. But more and more I do the architecture, I get more interest in Korean tradition, like how the Korean traditional architecture was placed in the site, and the relationship with the nature, and very tectonic structure, and the warmth in the materiality. I think that's something I get to get interesting and interest more and more. But I think I'm influenced more in Korean contemporary culture. Like, I grew up with the Korean pop musics, and, I always dance in the Korean music. And yeah, I think we have a the word 흥, I think that's the word that can describe Korean. 흥 is how to say, like a vibe. So Korean people like to sing together, dance together, and they like to gather together, something like that. So I think, yeah, that somehow I had a lot of influence in that, and I don't know how that influenced my architecture style or something, but yeah, somehow, yeah. Byung is one of my mentor. I can say I learned a lot for architecture in this office more than I studied before, I have to say. Yeah. Byung is a very artistic person, and how he worked for architecture and how he live, I think is the same as like he always think about the architecture, and everything he do is something related to architecture. Yeah, so that kind of attitude for architecture and how he enjoy that very inspires me. And he is also very artistic, so he do his own artworks, and like he also runs some architecture gallery and cafe, and that's kind of the field of experimentation in architecture. So yeah, that very inspires me. It is easy to open their office in Korea, because after they have a 3-year experience and they get the exam, and then they can be licensed architect, and that means you are qualified to open your office. And I think, but there is a very big limitation for young architects office in Korea. The main thing is the work they can get is very small scale or with the low budget. And the treatment for architect is not really good as other country. Because, I think that's from our history. We had a very rapid urbanization, and we built this city and all built environment in 60 years or around that. And people think architecture is more construction. So they don't, like clients didn't really have a respect for the architect. And that's something very hard for young architects in Korea, because they are very hard to get the job. And if they get job, and it becomes very low budget. So that's kind of very, limitation. And that's something I want to overcome. Yeah. So, yeah, that's one of my also interest. Our office is very design oriented, but our office starts from Byung, right? So most of architectural style and philosophy is kind of based on his thinking. And most of part, I agree with him, and I like how we deal with the architecture, but sometimes, I have another, thought in the architecture, and I think that's something I need to find more and I identify more about me, what I like and what kind of architecture that I want to do from now on. I always thinking, and And Byung is very open to the partners to develop their own identity and thinking. He's very supportive, so yeah. Yes, I have a lot of interest in art, and especially abstract art and some environmental art. It's kind of related to the project I'm currently working on, because I do several projects in the very nice nature surrounding in Korea. And some is we propose some gallery in the forest in Jeju Island, and other is we suggest a floating small cabin hotel in the forest in Gangwon, Provence. And how we deal with the site is more approach like environmental art, not the architecture. So we when we like studying the messing or design, yeah, it's more, yeah, we wanted to make it more like artistic and the very interesting or clear relation with the nature. So whether it has a very big contrast with the nature, or it is some like a camouflaged and disappearing with the nature, something like that. So that's something I really I have an interest in, and it's related to the question that you asked me before about developing my identity. And I think this is also one of my big thing for me. So yeah, I wanted to keep develop this, why I like this and what's the meaning of the making architecture, like environmental art. And for future, I want to learn structure engineering. You know, sometimes, you know, it is very different to other country. The engineering consultant in Korea has a really bad treatment than architect. And, you know, when we work with the structure engineers in Korea, they do same thing every time. They don't do creative structural interpretation, never. Like, and we ask them for can you do this and can you do this, because we thought it is stable enough to make this without columns, and then they said no, you have to have a columns there, and sometimes it makes me, oh, I want to learn the structure engineering, then I want to simulate it by myself and realize it. Yeah.